So this is what I'll send you a download link to tomorrow. So you don't need to try and think, oh, I've got to try and remember all that stuff. You'll get it all tomorrow. So just kind of go with the flow a little bit today. All right. So you move really well, you know, in the water. Seriously. I know why you're not going very fast.
Is it because I'm not kicking?
No. I'll go through that in a minute. But there's a lot of things that you're doing really nicely. Your kick is really nice. You don't kick much, but that's fine. You do enough just to keep it. You've got your toes pointed. You've got nice straight legs. You've got a bit of rhythm there with the kick. Your kick is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with the back end of your stroke at all. I'll have a close look at your body position in a minute. But your body position in terms of where you sit in the water looks pretty good. Your catch, as when the hand comes underneath the water and you're getting over the top of the stroke, the catch looks pretty good. And this is all from kind of visually from above. So we'll have a closer look at that in a minute. So you start thinking, well, there's a lot of good stuff there. So what's holding you back? What do you think it is that's holding you back?
Right. So I don't think. So first of all, I must have been working on the kicking because I know at certain times people forget to kick.
Okay. Yeah.
The second thing is I can't tell. So there's two things about. One of them is that I wasn't sure if I was actually catching the water. I was doing a lot of work on it. You know, everyone talks about the diamond or high elbow.
Yep.
I just couldn't work out what that meant. And then it was someone saying to me, it's like over the bounce, swimming downhill. So I know that goes from time to time. So unless I'm really thinking about it, I don't know what I don't know what's going. I don't know what's going on with that bit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
With that bit, and I know, especially when we're doing like faster paces, I know that something happens to my hands and feet. And with pace, I don't know what it just collapses. So the back end of my stroke, I collapses, and I don't know how much water I catch. And sometimes, if I go really slow in the drill, I can feel a kind of whoosh of the water. But that's when I'm going really slow.
So what advice have you been given about how to recover over the water and what to do at the front end of the stroke?
Right. So because I can't feel. Sometimes I can feel my lats, and sometimes I can't. So I don't know what I'm engaging with. Maybe with my shoulders. So in terms of rhythm and the kick, we've been told it's like a powerful like that, and then a quick recovery, and you should be loose. I've been told, and it should high elbow up here, and then go in the ball.
Okay. Who's told you that?
So, coach at the University of Birmingham.
Who's that?
That's
Louise.
No. Paul, Robert.
I only know Louise Barron, who's the head trolley coach.
Right, no. So Paul Thingy Bobby, he's one of the founder members of the Black Tribe.
Ah, okay.
And he teaches the Tribe, which is how I went to it, at the University of Birmingham. So that's not that's how I went to it. And also at Tewkesbury, that's what they're saying.
Okay. Let's have a look, and I'll explain what my thought processes are here in a minute. Okay. So you push off from the wall. Do a nice little dolphin kick under there, I think, at some point. That was, yeah. So from the side, the kind of classic kind of poolside view, right? Kind of classic kind of coach's side view. Where you can see your elbow coming up high. Your hand swings around. And then spears in. Kind of just in centre. We'll have a closer look from different angles in a minute. Just kind of in front of your head there and extends forwards. And there's that extension of the front forwards there. Other side, same kind of thing, high elbow, spearing in the same kind of place. So you're quite even on both sides. So you're doing the same kind of thing. Let's have a look at when you breathe. So this is what we're talking about. Your body position is actually really nice. So you're sitting on the surface of the water there. When you kick, looks like you've got nice flexibility in your ankles. You're doing being a little bit higher. Now your legs are your knees are bending a little bit there, and I'll explain why that is in a minute. That's related to the front end of the stroke. So all your legs do is balance up what's happening at the front end of the stroke. So if your front end kind of goes like this, then your legs will go like that. They just react to what's in front. So very often that's a clue about what's happening up here. So now, do you know about different types of swimmer stroke? There's different ways of swimming front crawl.
Is that I know in terms of only in terms of a choppy shorter stroke when you're in the open water. To be honest, that's kind of water I've swum in. This is anything I've been duck diving underneath this. It's been like a surf. And I know that like proper swimmers, it's all it's like glide, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like glide.
Okay.
I know that your stroke rate is that individual to you. And is it affected by size?
Yeah. So what do you think your stroke rate should be?
I haven't got a clue. I don't know what.
Well, if it's affected by size, think about it logically. If it's affected by slope, exactly, yeah. So you're pretty short, aren't you? Well, you're little. Yeah. So you got little. It's like Corin there. Yeah. You got little arms. So to get the got little arms.
Yeah. Although I think ape index is quite long.
All right. So your power is going to come from your turnover.
Not my kit.
Not your. No. You're even Ian Thorpe. You know Ian Thorpe, the kind of legendary. He generates something like 10% of his propulsion from his kick, and he's a sprinter and he's got a size 17 feet or something. So even someone like that only generates a small proportion of their propulsion from the kick. As a triathlete, even your kick is about balance, which is why I saw it and thought you can point your toes, they're just going nicely. That's all fine. So your propulsion comes from your turnover. For someone like yourself, your turnover. Yeah. So, and this leads me to the problem. What kind of the main kind of issue that you have is that, and very similar to a lady I saw earlier tonight, actually, you're effectively. I believe that you're trying to swim someone else's stroke. You're not swimming a stroke which is natural to you.
And I've also been told to slow my stroke down. Because I was thinking,
yeah.
Kind of how I swim.
You can get away if you swim like.
Because I can shift it. So you know when we do, like in our lane, I read the balls out session. Do you know what I mean? And I will clear.
So when you go fast, you feel more natural.
Yeah, and I will also leave the rest of my lane.
Yeah.
2/3 behind.
Yeah. Okay. So when they make you swim slowly, how does that make you feel?
Struggling. My timing's out. My breathing is hard.
So your stroke starts to break down.
Yeah.
So.
And then I kind of start wafting around. And then I don't rotate. Yeah, and then I don't rotate, and I end up swimming flat.
All right. So let me show you some things. So all I'm doing at the moment is just kind of explaining to you, just setting the groundwork about how you maybe need to rethink about the way that your stroke should look. And forget about the rights and wrongs of this is what the perfect stroke looks like, because there is no perfect stroke. Everyone is different depending on their size, their shape, their strength, what they're trying to do, as in open water or triathlon or whatever, whether endurance, whether they're sprint. So it's finding. My job is to find the stroke that works for you. Okay. So this is Rebecca Adlington, who's pretty good in the pool. I mean, I even like the way she turns around. It's like, all right. So fairly slow stroke rate. So she spears in long, extends forwards, gets over the top of the stroke there. That's what you mentioned before, kind of early vertical forearm, getting over the top of the stroke. She actually drops her elbows a little bit, so that even Rebecca Adlington has got a little bit of things she could improve on. That arm, ideally, should be down here. But but it's long and it's rangy. Okay, and also similar to John O'Van Hazel, who, do you know Swim Smooth, Swim Types? You've been through all that, do you know? Are you a coach? You doing coaching?
I'm just obsessed with
yeah. So, extending forwards, beautiful, long, ranging stroke. Okay, these people have been swimming since they were like
that's
this
what
big.
I think swimmers look like when they're swimming.
Yeah.
Because they've been born
Yeah.
swimming.
You don't fit that box. I don't fit that box. Corinne doesn't fit that box. Corinne's a European medalist. Anita's a world medalist. None of them swim like that. None of them swim like that because the triathletes and they've generally come into swimming a little bit later in life, or there's been a big gap, a massive gap. All right. So I think you're trying to swim like that.
Yeah, that's the
All right. Now look at this.
And I feel like I'm trying to get a perfect pool stroke.
Yeah.
Pool swim,
Yeah.
pool swim.
Yeah. And I think that's the mistake a lot of coaches make is they think that's the way swimmers swim. Therefore, you've got to do this higher zipper drills and all that extending forwards. Well, if you're losing momentum, all that happens as you start to sink. You start to lose control. Therefore, you start to sink a bit in the water. You need to lift your head up to breathe, and it all starts to fall to pieces.
Because when I go faster, when I only a slight movement, and I know I've got the bow wave.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not doing this. I'm not looking backwards, and it just fit.
Okay. All right. And let me show you this one.
I don't do condition myself.
What do you think about this one?
God, they look like they're floating on the water. Looks fast.
So this is Sally Seffeldi, who's she's actually a swim smooth coach. She's an age group, so she's not a professional. She's an amateur athlete. She's very good level though. She's been to the World Championships and things. That's more of a swinging style of stroke, so a much more open arm recovery. That's exactly. Faster turnover. Not much of a kick. The legs aren't really doing much. They're kind of bobbing along behind her. Yeah. So her speed is coming from her turnover. I mean, she's got a good catch and a good stroke, but most of it, the stroke rate is much higher. So let me show you also just to kind of round this off the other extreme. Have you heard of Harry Wiltshire?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen him swim?
No, I've seen him on a bike because he did Staffordshire the same year as me.
Right. There you go. That's Harry swimming.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Why is he like one arm straight?
Because that's the way he moves. That's the way he swims. He's got no extension. You're talking about extending at the front of the stroke. There is zero extension of the stroke. All turnover. All turnover. He's one of the fastest swimmers in the sport. Okay, so you need to kind of forget this whole thing that you need to, because all that does, if you haven't got the kind of the technique to carry it off, is it kills the momentum in your stroke, and it brings your stroke rate right down, and you lose that rhythm. Okay, straight in. It's like a shovel. All right. So some little bit of groundwork there. So if we now look at yourself here,
so I have to deprogram my 6 years.
I think it'll come naturally to you.
Because I've got permission.
Because I'm asking you to swim what I think is going to be the natural way for you to move. I think that's why you've struggled a little bit, because you've been trying to swim the way someone else has wanted you to swim, rather than the way you want to swim. Okay, and that's the key. So, I mean, it looks nice from this angle actually, but drop underneath the water. Drop underneath the water.
Yeah.
You're looking straight down here.
Is that wrong?
But look at the body line you have. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
down.
All the way from the fingertips down.
Yeah.
So your bum should be up here.
Yeah. My feet should be just.
So they should be just breaking the surface. Now what's happening there, because you're losing momentum, is you're effectively kind of sinking down in the water a little bit.
Right.
So just get rid of that.
And that's why my breathing's uneven, isn't it? So sometimes I'm gasping for air.
Well, you've got to get up. You've got a long way to go from there to get your breath as well. So, but you look at where your hand is. So your hand enters on this side, on the right side, enters. There's your spearing in and you're extending forward, which is what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But if you just kind of think, well, your hand is in there, so 12.15 seconds. When are you actually going to start generating some propulsion with that hand? So for propulsion, we want to be pushing the water that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So push through. So at the moment, all it's doing is going.
It's floating.
Like that. All right.
Oh, I'm on the bottom of the bowl.
Still going down. Still going down. You're dipping the wrist there a little bit, and you're starting to get over the top.
Yeah.
So maybe down here you're starting to push some water this way. Okay.
Long ways, isn't it?
So over half a second, every stroke, your stroke is doing nothing for you. Okay. And no wonder you go like that, because if you stop swimming, you're just going to sink. So let's carry on playing this through. Now, what I did see, and we'll have a look from a different angle actually, is you do get over the top of the stroke quite nicely. You've got a nice angle in the elbow there, which we'll have a look from a different angle. I'm not, you mentioned this, but I'm not too concerned about that. I think if we can get the front end right, because what you're talking about is the back 10%. I'm talking about the front 75%. If we can get that right, then you've got a lot more to gain. Okay?
And again, it's my back, it's that bit that I've been criticised for. And they're saying that's where you're losing, that's where I think that you're losing proportion, is from the back.
Yeah, well, you are, but you're losing a lot more from the front.
Sinking down the front.
Alright, so same thing then. You can just see that hand just kind of hangs there.
Yeah.
Well, it's not doing much there, is it? It's just kind of hanging about. And a cup of tea and a sandwich, deciding what it's going to do. And then we eventually get down here. And then we get. It is, yeah. It is. It's a little bit elbow led, but again, I'm not too concerned about that. Alright, so let's just play that through a little bit. So you can kind of see it there, you push that. Also, you might get some shoulder pain or some.
Yeah. I notice it when I've been in the time trial position. I notice it more and then I try and do push-ups and tight.
Okay. So let's just whiz you back along here a little bit. There we go, and you can just see. You're just going to see the same thing in reverse now. So the push down the right side, push down, push down, push down, push down. And then you get over the top. So it's not really until you get to that point there where you get over the top of the stroke. But that angle there in the arm is actually quite good, because you want to be having this kind of 100 to 120 degrees ish, and it pulls through beneath the shoulder, because that's the strongest point. You're not pulling out wide. So that actually looks all right. That side, on the left side, same thing. It just kind of drifts down until we get down here, and then there's that angle again. So that's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. You're looking a long way down. But I think your body, considering what we're talking about, I think your body position is actually really good. Because you're really lean as well, so it's not like you haven't got a huge amount to keep you on it. You've got
ass keeping me above.
hardly. So let's just play this through and see if we see anything else. Breathing out.
My right hand, I think it's because of a watch, but my hands do something funny.
It's a little bit weak under there, but I think if we set it up right, it'll start to improve. It's a bit like you can't recover because I'm going to tell you to recover with a bit more punch on the top of the stroke, on the top of the water.
Right.
Your stroke arm underneath the water. If you do that with power, it's not possible for this to go, weak. If you do that with power, that will come through with power.
Yeah.
Okay. Every action and has an opposite and equal reaction. Blah blah blah. You can't. Yeah. if we focus on a good, strong, powerful recovery, it will help the catch and pull through.
See, but again, and that's the opposite because all the power is under the water.
Yeah. 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 Well, if you look, well, if you go to any triathlon race and look at the way they swim,
Yeah,
you look
I
at any
in a race, I don't swim like that. Everybody's himself and all that.
Well, that would be interesting because you're in your swim squad sessions. You try and swim all nice, and then when you get thrown into a race, maybe you do a sprint or something, you'll be like, you'll change your stroke because you naturally know that it's not going to work for you. You don't get swimmers. You don't get swimmers who swim like Rebecca Adlington in triathlon. It just doesn't happen because you get battered around all over the place. You need a bit more stability with the wider stroke, the faster turnover. So let's have a look from above. Squeeze this forward a bit. There's my massive feet. Right. There we go. So that's actually, see your alignment. So when I see you swim, I see a lot of nice things. You're nice and straight there. Timing at the front end's a little bit out, but we're going to play with that anyway. Yeah.
It looks really wide though, don't they?
They're actually not too bad. They're not too bad. Yeah. Again, they're splitting a little bit because that arm is sliding out a bit, so they're just trying to balance you up. So yeah, you're spending a little bit too long breathing, so you're getting a little bit bent out of shape there. But I'm not going to worry too much about that. What I mean by that is your breath should be breathe in, rather than breathe. You're spending too long there. So your hands almost overtake the breath. It should be bang, back in again.
I know, really.
Do you know what I mean? It just looks a bit gentle.
Yeah, I look floppy as opposed to powerful.
Well, you won't be floppy in a minute. You'll be. Do you swim with a pool boy much?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
I do, but it's because of I was doing like 5 running sessions in preparation for my marathon, so I left my pool boy when I did so.
Just switch your legs off a bit.
Yeah.
All right, so we're not seeing anything extra there, really. So I actually quite like a lot of this stuff, the way the arm's coming through. So naturally, I think you're going to end up with a really good catch and pull through. All you're doing is just not setting the stroke up right. You're just not setting it up at the start. You're just coming in the wrong angle of attack. The recovery is a little bit wrong, which is leading to it coming in flat, a big push down at the front of the stroke. So we need to go back to thinking about Sally and the way she moves.
Looks like she's floating.
Yeah. Tempo, rhythm, swinging around the side. Let's see if he goes underneath the water somewhere. He goes underneath
it's
the
the
water
rhythm, isn't it? That just looks really smooth.
Maybe he doesn't go into the water with her. But it spears in, she spears in a little bit deeper. Because what happens if you're going too shallow is the elbow drops.
Yeah. I can feel that when that happens.
Yeah. Whereas if you come in deep, then you're already setting yourself up for the catch. Okay. If you're like that, then how do you get from that to that? You've got to kind of rotate the elbow around, and this is all kind of wasted time here, really.
Puts the brakes on as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I used to really have high hands.
Yeah. Okay, so do you understand all that?
Yeah.
So we effectively need to get you to take your stroke rate up a little bit. Now we're not going to do that by forcing it with a because we use the beepers, tempo trainers. Yeah. We'll experiment with that later, maybe. But what you can do with those is you can set it to a stroke rate. I'd say 65, and you can swim to the beat. Beat. I don't think we'll need to do that. I think because with the changes that we'll make to your stroke dynamically, it will shorten your stroke up and your stroke rate will naturally go up. All right. So, do you like some with fins on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're going to do then is we're going to get you to do some lengths with fins on. And I'm first of all going to ask you just to relax the shoulders, relax them, open up the chest, open up the arms a little bit. And just see how you swim more naturally. Okay. Go with the tempo a little bit more. Okay. I'll take you through it. So it's not going to be so much drills, it's going to be more live feedback that I'm going to do with you today. And see how you react to it. Because I want you to know what it feels like when it looks right. You know. So I get to do it with the fins on. That's going to give you more propulsion for you to think about your head position and keep the head down a little bit lower. It's going to help you get the tempo with the arms. So you're effectively going to be recovering the arms a little bit straighter over the surface of the water, coming in deeper. I'm going to go through it stage by stage with you, so don't worry about it. Okay? I think you're going to feel completely different after this.
Yeah, I know because I spent so much time trying to control every element of my stroke. To deprogram myself now will probably be quite hard. I'm a bit worried it might be hard. I'm hoping.
But you shouldn't have to think about your stroke.
I know,
That's exactly
and I'm constantly thinking about every element of my stroke.
It should be natural and rhythmical. If it's not, it's probably telling you that you're swimming the wrong kind of stroke.
Sometimes when I've got fins on, I do stop kicking.
But you shouldn't stop kicking when you've got fins on. Okay.
Sometimes I just float with them on. I don't know why.
Okay. Right.